Hey viewers, if you want your stories, experiences of infidelity, breakup, cheating, to be narrated and get featured to others in our Mr. Cool's Planet community, feel free to submit your stories to the mail given in description. Either way, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. Let's go.
Hello, you're at Mr. Cool's Family, a realm where tales unfold of love, betrayal, and emotions untold, taking you on a journey that astounds. Let's begin our journey into the unknown, where captivating stories are carved and honed. We're honored to have you here today, and can't wait to show you what we have to say. Come on. Story 1. My wife 31F has been gaslighting me for months. And I knew it. In June of last year, my wife told me a lie. She said she was on her way home after I texted her, "Call me when you can." My wife is going on a walk. Her goal was to get 10k plus steps, and she went on a walk because she only had 1.5k. I sent that text at 11:44 a.m. She responded at 11:55 a.m. I'm in a long-distance relationship. I'm telling you this because even though it's 11:44 a.m. to me, it's 8:44 p.m. to her. Earlier that evening, she sent me a link to purchase something, so I went to her contact profile because that's a quick way to look at all links on an iPhone, but right above the links is Find My iPhone location services if you are sharing. I see that my wife is at a hotel. I instantly feel uneasy. Being around a hotel at 9 at night is not something she's ever done before, but I swallow my insecurity and continue to work. I checked at 12 p.m., and remember, that's 9 p.m. for her. 15 extra minutes have passed. I see that she's still at the hotel. Now I'm feeling extra uneasy. I finally log in to find my iPhone, and I see that her phone and watch are at the hotel, and both items are fully charged. Remember this, it's key, and I see her MacBook and iPad at her apartment. I take screenshots of both locations to make sure I am not going crazy. At 12:20 p.m., I texted her, "How many steps you got?" No response. At 12:28 p.m., I noticed something funny happening on Find My iPhone. Her items are moving quickly like she is in a car. Oh crap. She is in a car. I call her on speakerphone, so I can continue to find my iPhone. 2 rings, then voicemail. And I call again. 2 rings, then a voicemail. And I call again. 3 rings, voicemail. And again. 2 rings, voicemail. Then. No more ringing, only voicemail only after. I call her from 12:29 p.m. to 12:33 p.m. Her time, 9:29 p.m. to 9:33 p.m. The entire time I call her, I am watching her phone icon move quickly from the hotel back to her apartment. I'm taking screenshots of the whole thing. At 12:37 p.m. she calls me back while in the apartment and tells me 2 lies. That her phone was dead, and she walked all the way home. But remember, on Find My iPhone, it was fully charged. That now leads into the gaslighting. To make this long story less long, I'll make an entire post if you want about what happened after. From that point, June 27th till December 3rd, I gathered undeniable evidence that everything she told me was a lie. And she admitted to it. Now you may wonder how she gaslights me. Well, my wife and I discussed what happened that day a lot. I have a 37 minutes video on my phone of her lying to my face. I had her tell her story about how she got home, and everything about it was a lie. He said a 30 minutes walk took her 10 minutes because she's a fast walker. Weary. She said that her neighbor stopped her outside to talk and that's why she didn't answer the phone. Instead of taking the walking path home, she took the driving streets because it seemed faster. Etc. I have text messages her of lying, and videos of her trying to pivot the conversation to me being too hard on her and being mean. And she was asking me why I didn't believe her. She tried to make me feel guilty when I didn't want to do certain things because I knew she was lying. She was lying so much, that I found other shit I wasn't even looking for that she lied about. I have a YouTube video that I found of her lying about never working out with other men. But I see her on a YouTube video. Working out with other men. Like, how do you have a YouTube video with you in it and lie about it? During our engagement, I called her, and she picked up the phone at another man's house, and I didn't know that she was there or who the man was. One time during our engagement, she slept at her boss's house to save money because they had to go out of town the next day, instead of getting a hotel. And I have a preponderance of evidence I had to accumulate over the past 8 months because I thought I was going crazy, but it comes to finding out, my gut is correct. She's a fucking liar. After finding all the undeniable evidence and confronting her, she realized I had caught her in the lie, but I still believe she hasn't told me the full truth. I believe wholeheartedly that my wife cheated. I know with who, but unfortunately, I don't have the evidence for it. So, I made this post because, as a man, no one will talk about the guilt you feel after you have been gaslighted and you've done nothing to deserve this, but somehow your spouse makes it seems like it's your fault. Is it my fault I gathered the evidence after you said I was acting crazy? Most of this journey was not about her. It was me trying to reclaim my trust in myself. I feel like my wife has used my mental health against me, and it's hard to empathize with a person who would do that. When I told her I wanted a divorce, I believe that was the first time she realized that her actions have consequences. Over the past 8 months, I tried to create a safe space for her to talk. I tried different tactics that I've read online or from a therapist, and nothing seemed to work. I was constantly being yelled at, disrespected, or lied to. Once I had enough and told her I wanted a divorce, everything about her personality changed. And everything I asked for, she is starting to do now, which is another thing that men don't talk about. It does not make me better that you decide to change all of your habits when you realize we are almost over. Because that means everything I was telling you before, and you told me I was wrong, becomes valid. That means you heard me, and you refused to change, and that, to me, is another form of manipulation. I am losing all feelings I ever had for this woman. It's been 8 long months of getting my sanity back, and since I did it alone, I'm okay with being alone. We just had our year anniversary, so to put it into context, she's been lying to me for more than half of our marriage, and I don't know if I want to deal with a consistent liar for the rest of my life. And I'll leave you with this. 2 years ago, I was medically discharged from the military because I suffered from bipolar disorder. So as I am trying to navigate this new illness, my wife is gaslighting me. That's something I don't think I'll ever forgive. My dear friend, you are trying to be a world-class detective to show the world that your wife is a cheater and that you need this affirmation to make a decision that is right for you. Can I let you know that no one cares? No one cares if your wife cheated or not. No one cares if she has gaslight you or told you up is down or black is white. You know she has cheated, yet you are accepting it by looking for some proof. It's about now you should be aware of the phrase, screw that. Story 2. Married for 10 years and 10 years all was a fraud. Wife and I are in mid-30 and my story start like this. I started dating her 10 years ago, find her in the most inhumane ways possible with a babe on her arms. I fall in love not with my actual wife but with the babe that was 1 year old, not even walking yet. I decide that I need to help them at first, and every day more and more I just get more attached to the babe and my wife. During the time I talk care of everything and talk that babe is my own. I got no babes at that time, so that little girl make me a dad, so I start seeing her mom on a more romantic way. We start dating. What could happen? Is a single mom with a babe that she can't take care on her own, and I was the charming prince to save them. We date for almost 2 years before I decide to properly propose her, going to her parent, bring the ring, thinking I need the parents' blessings, work for 1 extra year to give the woman I love the wedding she deserve in my heart. Everything was great, I was so happy, and so my wife and babe girl. I decide to send her back to school cause you know life sometimes is unfair and I needed to make sure they were okay, but in my story life was nothing but fair and my wife is the one that ended up letting me down. I guess it happened. We got married as promised. She eventually became a nurse and I'm proud to say that she did it on her own. I never intend to make her feel like she owed me anything cause I did it on my free will, expecting anything from my wife. I'm the hot one in the marriage, she wasn't even of my liking, but that babe girl stole my heart. We live a happy life, or that what I thought, for the next 8 years with ups and downs like any other marriage. My second son came to be an amazing boy. Everything was great, amazing. I was going crazy. It was too much happiness. I doubt many times it was true. We enjoy our marriage until the day I check her phone and everything went downhill. She was always talking to random men the sexual way while I work 12 hours daily for her to accomplish and finish nursing school while saving for our wedding. The time came I need to confront her. Well, she denied everything with proof in my head's hotel location messages, all while we were married, and have the audacity to say it was all for romance, the romance she never had. And that all was just talk, nothing physical, even though the messages say a totally different thing. At the point there only one thing I could do: cover my eyes and play stupid while been right for my family. I got depressed to the point of getting close to lost my job and everything. I feel like writing about it helped me somehow. I need an advice. What do I need to do? She keep telling me to try, but I feel if there is no consequences she will lose respect for me, even though I think she never really got not even a dust particle of respect for me at all since she did what she did after all my sacrifice. And advice from someone will be appreciated. Dude. This story was so hard to read. So you saw a woman that was a charity case, didn't even really like her in the beginning, and Anoy wanted to help the baby and don't think she's hot, and she feels like she owes you going to school because she knows you don't find her pretty and only took her in because you felt sorry for her. Now you Camel Pain, she equally doesn't like you and flirts with other guys that find her actually attractive. What a surprise. Sure, cheating is wrong, no doubt about it, but what were you expecting? That love arises out of her knowing that you only pitied her from the beginning and say you are the attractive one on the relationship. Your relationship is a farce, it was one from the beginning, and you started it. Story 3. Our neighbor woman is cheating on her husband. So before telling her husband, we spoke to her first. I know that our neighbor Cassie, 30, female, cheated. Cassie has 3 kids, is a stay-at-home mom, and from the outside looking in she has a great life. Her husband helps with all the house chores, kids, cooks dinner every night and cleans up the mess. He's always taking her out to do fun things, and they have a ton of family support, but Cassie has a drinking problem. Like a drink all day, pass out at night addiction. Over the past few years her drinking has gotten out of control, especially after the pandemic. One night she came over and said she had to tell me something important. She confessed that over the past year she has been talking to a guy that she had a friends with benefits relationship with in high school. He has been asking to get together and she finally caved. The worst part is how she did it. She waited until her kids were down for a nap and had him come over. They had sex in her home and then he left. The same week they got together again. This time they went out to dinner, went back to his place and did the deed. After they had sex he said he felt terrible and wanted to end things. She was so upset. She has feelings for him. He ended up ghosting her after she flipped out on him. I wonder if the feelings were reciprocated, what would have happened. Back in December she went to rehab to fight her alcohol addiction. Just before she left she met a man at a bar and exchanged numbers. She ended up going to rehab and wasn't able to talk to him, but I just feel terrible for her husband. He's taken on the full responsibility of the kids while still having his full-time job, which includes some travel. He's paid for her rehab plus an allowance, and now she's decided to stay at an intensive outpatient program which will end up being a total of 3 months or more away. I have a lot of sympathy for her addiction. I too have had issues with this. I don't think it's my place to tell her husband what she did, but John thinks we should and that we are assholes if we don't. So are we the assholes? Should we tell him? Update. I spoke to Cassie a few weeks ago and let her know how I was feeling about keeping this information from her husband. In so many words I let her know I couldn't hold on to it much longer, so she needed to tell him soon. The next week she told him. She let him know that I was the only one she had told. He texted me basically saying he was prepared to forgive her and move forward. I didn't get involved further as I believe this should all be between the two of them and I should have never been involved in the first place. Cassie is still in rehab and doesn't know when she will be leaving. Fast forward to yesterday. Her husband texted me to ask if he could ask me something important. He came over shortly after. This was the first time we spoke about details of her cheating, and of course I was concerned about what she had left out. Come to find out, she did not tell him about having the guy over to their house when the kids were sleeping. But she didn't tell me that she was sleeping with a guy while she was in the rehab in December. Rehab guy is now serving a sentence in prison for domestic violence. Her husband found a letter to rehab guy from Cassie stating, "Your new family will be waiting for you when you get out. I can't make this shit up." Anyway, he came over to ask if I could write an affidavit on his behalf because he is filing for divorce and he wants custody of the 3 kids. Of course I'm going to write it. The situation is still evolving, of course. I probably won't update again. Oh my god. Wow, Cassie is a piece of work. Had her husband whipped enough that he was earning the money, doing all chores and childcare, tolerated her addiction and paid for her rehab, and was prepared to forgive her cheating, and she still had to go mess it up. The poor husband and kids will be so much better off without her. It's good that she was in rehab when he found out. He was able to think it through. I wonder if he did some digging on their computer and find more truth, then wanting you to confirm it. I hope he gets custody. As a recovering alcoholic, I realize that people do stupid stuff when drunk. I never cheated though. Lying to him about the truth shows she's not accepting full accountability. It'll never work if she doesn't own up to it. Who knows what else she's hiding. That concludes today's episode of Mr. Cool's Family. We hope you enjoyed the stories we shared and found them as engaging as we did. As always, we appreciate your support and would love to hear your thoughts and comments below. Your feedback helps us create the content you love, and we can't wait to bring you even more captivating tales in the future. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and we'll see you again next time for more thrilling stories about the complexities of human relationships. See you tomorrow.